Welcome into another episode of Action Talk. I'm your host, Thomas Shafer, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Saavedra. And hey, man, I went 3-1 against the spread. I've been hot lately. If I would have allocated my money a little bit better, then I would have had a huge weekend. But, man, I was satisfied. And, hey, your best bet won.
Yeah, man, those Steelers, -3.5, cashed in the first half, and we just rode the game the rest of the way, enjoying every second of it. So that was a great watch. We went 7-2 in the plays we were giving on Instagram and Twitter. So, guys, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Action Talk Bets. Be sure to subscribe and like below. We're giving out free advice. We went 9-2 last week. If you slid in those DMs, gave out 2 underdog plays, and Niners and Bears both cashed. So we had a great week 6. Thomas, how are we kicking off week 7?
Hey, we're going to stay with your Steelers. Steelers are taking on the Titans at Tennessee Titans. Steelers are a 2-point favorite, man. How do you feel about your Steelers? They've been hot.
They've been red hot. Unfortunately, suffered a huge loss last week. Devin Bush went down with a torn ACL. That's the heart and soul of our defense. This was his first year wearing the captain's helmet, if you will, with the green sticker, calling the defense. But, the rest of the defense is pretty solid. I think we'll be able to stay stiff and hopefully cover that 2-point spread. I got the Steelers winning this one for sure. I think we'll cover that 2-point spread. We're going against another undefeated team in Tennessee. It's vicious. We're going to need every bit of that Steelers defense to take down Derrick Henry, but I trust what we'll do, and I think we'll be able to hold Ryan Tannehill in check. So taking the Steelers money line here. What about you, Thomas?
I'm on your side, man. I like the Steelers -2. Derrick Henry is leading the NFL in rushing. He's, in my opinion, the best running back in the NFL. But I think the defense has a better matchup. I think the defense always is gonna affect the rushing offense more than the good rush offense is gonna affect the defense. And we saw that last week with the Browns couldn't run against the Steelers, and that led to Baker Mayfield turning it over early and them getting blown out. So I think if the Steelers are able to shut down Derrick Henry, and I know that's a huge task to take on, but I think they can do it, then the game's gonna have to be relied on Ryan Tannehill. And I think Ryan Tannehill's had a good season, but a lot of that has to do with Derrick Henry running the ball and him being able to throw off a play action. So I like the Steelers, man, as much as I like Derrick Henry and what the Titans are doing.
Yeah, I think this is something that the Steelers are going to have to set the tone defensively early. We're going to have to stop Derrick Henry or limit him early because I think he's going to get 100 yards on the ground either way. I think it's going to be a close game. Like I said, I hope we cover those 2-point spread. I can see it being a 1-point game somehow. It's going to be a weird game. I realistically think Steelers win this game by 4. I'm probably going to take an alternate line of 3.5. There's another free play there if you want Steelers plus money. But it's going to be a weird game. We got to set the tone early against Derrick Henry because it could be ugly. I definitely am going to take a prop bet of him going over his yardage because we do tend to struggle against the other team's best player, even if it's a running back. So I don't know if we're going to hone in so well. What do you got?
I think the Titans, man, though, they've gotten to shootouts with really bad teams, and all their games have been close, like Jacksonville, Minnesota, last week at Houston, man. They're struggling defensively against bad teams. So I think Ben Roethlisberger, he's been a little, game manager, would you say? But he's thrown great passes. The receivers look great, man. I like the Steelers, and that's really all I got to say.
Let me just say, finishing note there. I think they're like 3rd on the board for this bet, but there's a bet to see which undefeated team is going to be the last to be defeated, if you will. I would lock it in before this game because obviously there's a battle of undefeated teams. I would take the Steelers. I know the probability, everything's leaning the Seahawks way, but man, this is a really solid team. Ben's got excellent playmakers around him. Great running game if James Conner is able to stay healthy with a good 1-2 punch with Snell. So rolling the Steelers this week, and like I said, to stay undefeated the longest.
Yeah, and we talked about that bet last week, and we both agreed. We're like, man, the Steelers got all the value there, and I think that's a good play too, man. But, another undefeated team that we just talked about, the Seattle Seahawks, they're taking on the Arizona Cardinals, coming off that win against Andy Dalton and the Cowboys. The Seattle Seahawks are 3-point favorites on the road. Who do you like here?
I told you earlier, I can't believe there's only 3.5. I understand that the Seahawks have no defense, but I'm not convinced with what I saw of the Cardinals. I mean, it took 2 Zeke fumbles and just miserable offense and a Dalton turnover on what should have been DPI. But it took all that for the Cardinals to blow out the Cowboys, and it wasn't really convincing. Kyler Murray completed 9 passes in that victory. So I'm not convinced by what I saw from them. I'm going with the MVP, taking that -3.5 and -105. Take that all day. I might take an alternate line of them -5.5, -5, something like that. I think they're going to take it to the Cardinals and expose this team. Some people are saying Kyler Murray for MVP. The real MVP is going to stand up and shut that down right now. I'm taking the -3.5 for Seattle.
Yeah, man, I have to agree with you once again. Pete Carroll's 7-3 all time coming off a bye week with the Seattle Seahawks. And I know that doesn't allocate and talk about like the spread, but I don't think the spread's small. It's 3.5 points. I think they win this by more than 4 or 5 points. So I got to go with the Seahawks. Like you said, Kyler Murray the problem with judging last game is he didn't really have to do much because Zeke just gave him the game. You can't just gift wrap 2 touchdowns and then expect, the quarterback to have like an amazing game. And we're not talking about the Cowboys, but the Seahawks just have the better quarterback, like you said. He's probably going to be the MVP. Hey, Tom Brady I think he's going to creep into that little MVP discussion. But like you said, I like Russell Wilson, man.
Yeah, I got to take that -3.5. I just think this is way too small of a spread. When you look at the difference in power between these teams, like I said, I know there's not much going on defensively in Seattle, but still, I am just not buying into this Arizona Cardinals team at all, fading them as I will most weeks. And I think, other than the Viking game, Seahawks have covered every spread this year. So I know they went behind early against the Vikings, but don't see that happening against Arizona. See them covering this 3.5. And with that takes us to Monday night with 2 teams that I think really need this primetime game to prove and show America who they are. We got the Chicago Bears going to LA to face the Rams. Rams favored by 5.5 against the stiff defense. Thomas, what do you have here?
They have a stiff defense, but so do the Rams. If you look at the defensive categories, rushing, pass, total defense, sacks, pretty much any category, they're literally neck and neck. So I have to go with the better offense with the I almost said St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, with Jared Goff and Cooper Kupp and all those guys. I'm really worried about the Bears being able to move the ball with David Montgomery. He's averaging 3.7 yards a carry. That's pitiful. That's garbage. And as much as I like Nick Foles and his story, he's been a little mediocre. He's been a little bit better than Mitchell Trubisky. And I just think their luck runs out this weekend. And I got to go with the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles Rams, a little tongue twister right there.
It's all good. I tripped up at the beginning. It's all good. It's hard. This was a game that I'm really, like I said, these are 2 teams that they need to come out and make a statement. So this bet for me is like really weird. I have to go with the Bears plus 5.5 just because I think that defense is going to be too much for Jared Goff. I know McVay's a genius, but I really think that defense is going to hold the Rams in check. I don't think the Rams are going to score over 25. So there's another prop play right there if you guys want. And I think Nick Foles is going to be able to put up at least 17, 18, somewhere around there, maybe get into the 20s, hopefully. I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to probably take the under 2. I don't know, man. I got to grab that plus 5.5. I don't think the Bears are going to win. I don't think I can say that. I don't know if I'm going to grab the 210 is juicy, but got to go with that Bears plus 5.5 at least. That's my pick for this one.
So you had success the last couple of weeks. You're 3-1 with your best bet. Who's your best bet this weekend?
It's weird. Usually I like going with a good spread with a good team and a favorite, but this week I'm going with the 49ers money line plus 120, playing the Patriots. Jimmy G going in against his old coach. I like that a lot. So going with the 49ers money line plus 120. What about you?
I got to go with Tom Brady, TB12, going on the road to almost said Oakland again. All these teams are freaking moving. I'm forgetting where they are, but they're in Las Vegas now, and I like laying those 3 points. The the offense was starting to look a little bit better this weekend with some guys starting to get healthy. And once Mike Evans is fully going on the football field, I think that offense is going to be ridiculous. Even Gronk looked great. I'm glad some idiot dropped him in my fantasy league, and I was able to pick him up. So I like those laying those 3 points. And this defense, man, I didn't expect them to be the number 1 ranked defense through 6 weeks. This is incredible. Derek Carr and John Gruden, they're not going to beat Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady all in one season in what, a 4 or 5 week stretch? That's not happening. Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, I don't think so. And if it does happen, then, man, all the Death Star and whatever rumors and things Gruden was saying are true, man. But I'm with you there. I don't think the Raiders are going to have another crazy upset. So I'll be taking the Bucks as well. My favorite underdog this week, which maybe you don't want to take my advice. I've been pretty bad with the underdogs this week, this year, unless Thomas agrees with me. But I'm going with the Bengals plus 150. I think they got a chance. Baker Mayfield's a little sore, just went against a really, really vicious pass rush. So I'm sure he's equally as sore, if not worse. He might not finish that game. They're like the 30th ranked pass offense in the NFL, And I think Joe Burrow has a chance. I mean, he stays close in a lot of games, keeps it competitive, and this could be one where Bengals pull off the upset. So I'll take that plus 150. What about you, Thomas?
I'm going to go with your best bet, and that's the 49ers on the road God, these games are confusing me, at New England Patriots. I like that money line since it's the underdog, but man, Cam Newton hasn't looked good since the Seattle Seahawks game where everybody thought, oh my gosh, he's resurging his career. No, the Seattle defense just sucks. And he's only had 1 game passing for over 200 yards. And remember all in the offseason when I'm like, oh, Brady, he never had weapons last year, like the worst weapons in the NFL last season. Those are the Cam Newton's weapons. So he's not Tom Brady's. He's Cam Newton, and they're not doing good, man. I gotta take the 49ers.
All right, and since we were 1 game short this week, Thomas and I both prepared a teaser. 6 points. It's gonna be 6 teams plus 600. I know usually in gambling you like the 777. Unfortunately, we had some demonic thing right there with the triple sixes. But here's my teaser. I'm teasing the Bills down to -7 against those miserable Jets. I don't even know if the Jets are going to put up more than 7 points in this game. Trust the Bills cover -7. Teasing those Chargers down to -1.5 against the Jags. Teasing the Chiefs -4. Bengals down to +9.5. Washington football team I always have a hard time with that one. To +7.5. And then I'm taking the Niners, teasing them down to +8.5 against the Patriots. Think this is a lock. 6-1 odds. Don't know what more you guys want. Thomas, what's your teaser looking like?
Man, my teaser is I would think that all these teams are locks to win outright. Packers, Steelers, Seahawks, Chiefs, Niners, and Bucks. Those are like my favorite teams this week. So why not put them in a teaser and tease them down, get a couple extra points just in case it's a close game. But, man, I'm not going to tease any bad teams up. Like, I don't want to risk that. I think these are my locks, so I'm just playing it a little bit safer, getting some extra points.
And there you go. Like I said, 2 teasers, 6-1 odds. Yeah, it's juicy stuff right there. And like I said, we're a game short, so we got to throw out more juice. Got to give you guys more. It's just not enough. So we also got a parlay, 3 legs. I'm going with Bills -13 at -115 odds, going 49ers money line at +120, and Bucks -3 at -105. It's $10 to win 70, 7-1 on a 3-leg parlay. It's pretty juicy. Thomas, what's your parlay looking like?
So Mark's getting those extra juice with the plus money with the Niners. I'm just going to go against the spread. I've been pretty good against the spread lately, so I'm laying those points with the Packers, the Steelers, and the Bucks. Those are probably my 3 favorite plays this week, so why not parlay them? 10 to win 59. That's pretty juicy. And we were hitting on some parlays this past weekend, so you might want to tail these for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, 9-2 last weekend. So if you allocate your money properly, you made some money tailing us. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Action Talk Bets. And be sure to subscribe and like below. And turn on those notifications so you know when we're giving out these free plays.